Come on, computer. Ah, this is gonna be a hot mess. What else is new? All right, turn the sound off on the laptop. See if the notice goes out that I'm live. There we go. And let's put that in live chat so if anybody gets here, I can actually see what's going on. So, how you guys doing tonight? Better than I am, I hope. I didn't realize how claustrophobic this spot was gonna be. Oh my. Oh. So as everybody comes in, we'll start. I'll see what I can purge out of here. Because heaven knows there's stuff in here. Indiana Jones shouldn't be in here. This was supposed to be just for research books, which I actually see a couple, 3 of them right there. Oh, don't you mess up my Hagen Renneker. I'm in that one a lot. So I think it has 6 watching. And we'll see who shows up. Let me get these 2, what was it, 3 out of here. I noticed, boy, you can tell it's the beginning of a new year and the beginning of a quarter for those who are, this is their only income, because they've all been jumping on having as many little pop-up sales and extra sales. And if you're, it's not a sale tonight, so if you want to go off and see something else that is a sale, that's okay. Thank you. I don't feel it, but I decided to put the face on anyway. Really not feeling this claustrophobia right here. Not feeling that at all. So decided, and this has been a challenge to set up completely, because I'd pull the ring light out. Well, the ring lights don't have a power adapter like plug into the wall. You have to plug it into another thing, and the cord's too short to use the phone adapter to plug it in. So I have my laptop here, which is running that. The phone is only on 50% battery, so we're going to go as long as that lasts, or until near 10 o'clock, whichever hits first. And I just realized I didn't plug the laptop back in. I should do that before I block my way to that cord. Hang on a second. Where are you? Come here, you. There we go. Honestly, jury rigged every which way. Jury rigged every possible way you could have. So, if some of you saw the thumbnail or saw one of my previous, I showed this shelf just briefly in a vlog at one point. And there were a lot of books on it, and most of them should be here because I want this to be just the reference library. And it's not. There's a few things that have snuck in here. So I thought, I'm not up. I'm so glad I didn't decide to push my luck for another live sale. I'm trying to balance that out, partly because of my spine, which was not having it today. We are getting rain here in the southeastern corner of Pennsylvania. The worst rain will hit tomorrow, and the tail end of this big storm, after all the rain, is going to dump sleet on us for 2 to 3 hours, depending on how fast the thing moves. That's that's tomorrow, I think at this point, evening. But the rest of you that are in line for this thing, I've been praying for y'all because a lot of people are in an ice storm path that is just dangerous, flat out dangerous. Snow, you can hunker down in your house, be safe, stay off the roads. Ice is the great equalizer, and ice brings things down. I remember the 90s. There was some winter in the 90s we had nothing but ice storm after ice storm after ice storm in the Philadelphia area. It was pretty bad. It was really pretty bad. One of those ice storms was the time I saw that when one of the transformers on the pole explodes, it can arc green light, like otherworldly, creepy alien, old bad alien movie or bad ghost movie green, and it'll arc that sucker way up into the sky. Interesting, but when you didn't know what it was right away, it's a little creepy. Now, this one, I don't know. Everybody knows Earth Day, but they don't necessarily know. See how that looks very much like an Urte, especially this back cover. The back cover is the same. Now this is Poiret. His name was Paul Poiret, and he very much was coming out with designs in the early 1920s. About the same time, I think he probably was a contemporary of Urte, and they were all going for that look. But he did. I love this picture. I wanted to find it. I found it. He did more than just clothing. This is a rug. Isn't that cool? He did a lot of other stuff. Urte pretty much stuck to clothing or costume designs. This guy went on to make other things for within the home, and it was pretty cool. So this is gonna be fun for me trying to read the chat because I'm looking through my bifocals and I can't read what's on the phone. But if I look through my bifocals, I can mostly read what's on the laptop. Mike is determined that I am getting new glasses. My insurance will only pay for the doctor's exam. It doesn't pay for lenses or frames. That frames, I tend to get the kids' sizes because look how short. You see how short the arms are? My ears are pretty far forward, and this purple pair was actually a children's pair, but it's the first pair of glasses in my life that never fell off my face because the length of the arm is got a measurement. Nobody ever thinks to measure that, and so when I tried these on, she goes, "Oh, but they're a kid's pair. They're not going to fit." And I looked there like, "Wow, so this is what it's like to have a pair of glasses that's not constantly falling off." Turns out my ears are about, they are almost 3/4 of an inch further forward than average. Why be average when you can be goofy? And that was what they found out about my ears. So now I can get glasses that fit. So he's gonna get me glasses. Yay! Because I need bifocal, I need graduated lenses, and I need non-glare coating, and they're not inexpensive. All right, we've all looked for stuff like this. You see this one? Not that I want one, but I do think they're really, really cool looking. Can you guess? Can you guess who this book is? Louis C. Tiffany, Rebel in Glass. With Tiffany stuff, there is so much to learn. There are books out there that are just on Louis Comfort Tiffany. There's stuff that's on, oh, now I've forgotten because there's another big Tiffany name. But there's also things that are just on the glass. like this. This is all decorative pieces. There are other books that are just on the stained glass. Then you get into Tiffany and Company and the silver and the jewelry and the silver that's not jewelry. And there's such a huge variety of books on them. And it's any book that you find, like this one is more of a biography kind of thing. But all the images and stuff in here and the stuff you will learn really helps you understand some of where it comes from. Now, I've not seen many biography kind of things on um, places that are not super huge. Like Tiffany has been a super huge name for, what, a century now? Or close to it, maybe. At least I think so. When did they start? Oh, I gotta quit tilting forward. That hurts. Okay, so Louis Comfort was born in 1848 and passed in 1933. So yeah, I'd say a lot of Tiffany stuff's probably, they've been around for 100 years. So that kind of stuff, you will see biography type books on them. But for most other things that you collect, there are price guides. The trick is finding them. George the Antique Nomad mentioned one lone publisher that is left that publishes these guides. And they always call them, price guides because they usually had an identification and a value. But since eBay came on the line, the value is really, really dictated by market more than it ever was because some things turned out to be super easy to find, so their price dropped. Other things you found out were super rare and their price skyrocketed. So the prices you see in these guides, nah, I don't even look at them. Other than that, maybe the ones that some guides will actually tell you if something's uncommon or rare. And if it was rare at the time the book was made, odds are it's still rare here. So this all needed to be dusted off and sorted out. They're all mixed up, and I really need to get the ones I'm going to use the most on the top because I can't keep. Some days are better than others. Today was not a good day, so I ended up going to bed for the afternoon just to lay flat. So, and those muscle relaxers do knock me out. So, and of course I dropped something. Oh, shoot. Ah, yeah. 2 Tylenol and muscle relaxer, and it still bothered me. And it's all just because it's rainy and it's crappy. And its arthritis is 2 points of arthritis in the spine. One of them is, guess where? Right where the pinched nerve is. Oh, joy. So, let's take a look at yes, ice storms, TFA, are absolutely the worst. Ice is the great equalizer. It does not care if you have a 4x4. It doesn't care if you have chains on your tires in places that still allow chains. Doesn't matter. Ice is a great equalizer. And ice and wind is even more dangerous because everything gets heavy from the coating and then the wind comes along, tries to move it, and that's when you end up with lots of snapped branches and things. Not a good thing. Yes, Swiffer Duster. I love these, though I'm down to this one, and I think I have one more. So I love Swiffers. I love these, and I love the flat ones, but I'm out of them too, and I'll get there. Everything, even stuff like this, everything is set aside to just make sure we keep getting heating oil at the moment. I'm trying. My biggest problem in taking care of health issues is that I'm procrastinating. I definitely procrastinate because I just keep thinking of, well, if I take care of this, then this is going to happen. And this means I've got to deal with this and stay in bed for a while. And I can't do that because the finances uh, and I would get extremely stressed out. And depression is no fun as it is. Now have now have anxiety that I don't have social anxiety. I have a heart attack based on stress alone. They didn't find anything wrong with my heart. It's on the side of a mountain. The only thing they can find is that when I get too stressed, it does weird things to the heart. And it's not your typical heart disease kind of things. So they found that it's linked to the depression and anxiety. So um, I have what alprazolam is Xanax. I always get the generic, so I forget. So I have that if it gets too bad, but I don't like taking that. I don't want to get hooked. I don't want to get hooked to anything. I'm a pain in the neck that way too. So I am trying this year after everything that went on last year. I have no choice now that my new normal has got to be taking care of my health issues, especially since odds are I'm gonna have to go have hernia surgery. Oh joy! Um, really pretty sure that that's gonna be a thing in 2022. It's okay. I've had it before. I can deal. Uh, the biggest headache of hernia surgery is sometimes when they wake you up, you're sitting up. So that means all the pressure is down on wherever they happen to put, and that can be quite painful depending on where they had to. And then you cannot lift. It is hard to get up out of bed. My son actually, last time I had one, my son actually made a rope that he tied with little loops, and so that I could actually pull myself up to get out of the bed. And now the cat plays with that, so it's a cat toy now, but it's still there. So, but that'll be a let's deal with that in the summer and just change the way I eat and be really careful. All right, let's get the dust off of here. And there. So, um, let's see what's in the chat here. Oh, Fiona's here. Yes, anxiety can, and it is, everything's a brain body connection. LJ, I have come by so many books because some of the old book value guides, some of the stuff on old books, I used to know somebody who was an antique book dealer, and I used to, anytime he needed an extra hand, he would hire me. Just, I mean, for a one-off day or for a weekend, or if we went to a dealer show. So I started with that, and then when eBay started, eBay was 2 years old when I found eBay, and I started on there. So I started picking these up as I needed them from things that I had from the great aunts, and stuff that I had found at flea markets, and stuff of my mother's that she wanted to sell. So I just kind of worked my way up, and then in May it'll be 15 years when Mom died. Well, by then, Mike was 13, 14. But when she passed away, and there was all that little stuff, and then stuff from the great aunts, and stuff from my aunt, and stuff from, yeah, and then from the last inheritance was more books, but I at least had books to help me ID some of that. But as I found like batches of little stuff, and if I saw them, I just would pick them up. If I saw them at yard sales, flea markets, sometimes you find a bunch of them at flea markets. I found a bunch last summer Um, Mike and I actually drove out. It's above Philadelphia, and I can't remember the name of it. Bartow? I think it's called Bartow. And we found a guy who, in the back, literally had a farm wagon full of boxes of books. And I spent you're for those of you who know how expensive these are, you're gonna just cringe that I got such a good deal. So I spent $10, $10, and walked away with 8 of these books. Yeah. Because usually these suckers can be like $30 a piece if you're trying to find them online. Sometimes you get lucky and you can find them cheap. But I have everything here from jewelry, salt and pepper shakers, and I thought about doing this before, and then the cat. I had a chance to pick up off of Facebook Marketplace, and it was something my son had found that somebody was selling a bulk lot of books, ID books, and so we went ahead and got that. We split the cost. He said it was a present. I said okay, and I never did get them incorporated into here because they only came. They came. They came while I was still hurt, so I looked through some of them, but I never got them into here and organized. So they need to get onto this shelf, and I honestly have to figure out if there is enough room. Some of these I have read the entire book, page to page, cover to cover. Others, not so much. I got what I needed out of them, and they're still like the salt and pepper shaker ones. I have not necessarily read every little thing that was written in there. The salt and pepper shaker ones, I'm pretty much have gone through looking at pictures and being greatly disappointed. Why, you might ask? Because most of them, in the books I have anyway, don't have salt and pepper shakers that are pre-World War II. I grew up seeing a massive collection that started that. Okay, let's see. I don't even have them. They went to my Aunt Michiko and Uncle Bert. They had salt and pepper shakers in there from the sesquicentennial. That's the 100th anniversary of our country in 1876. Yeah, because why? Because somebody in my family went to it because it was up in Philly. I have an ashtray. I have a little lead ashtray that's from that, and but that's when the collection of salt and pepper shakers had started. Was my great grandmother's, and then her daughters continued it. So I know when we were emptying their house, everybody got to pick, and everybody got to take quite a few salt and pepper shakers. And there were still hundreds of pairs left over. And unfortunately, this was pre-eBay days, and I cringe now at the ones that we were selling for $5 a pair at flea markets because you didn't know that there was such a huge collector's market out of there. So, you know, we used to do what we could. Oh, what are you? Come here. Ow! Oh, freaking. Okay. Now you see why I said I'm pretty sure there's a hernia. It's okay. Had it before. Musser Scout Reservation and incredibly dusty. Yeah. All right. We're not going to do this bending over the chair. We're going to do this a smart way. Carefully. Oh, hello. What are you? Uh-oh. You're stuck. You're stuck and you're a cat book. How? How did you get back there? How the hell can I get you out? Aha. That is how I shall get you out. I shall turn you sideways into the trash can. There we go. Oh, Bear Scouts. Let's put you over there. And then this. Isn't that cute? That's not where that should be. I don't actually have a should be place for craft books yet. I just don't. All right. Let's get up a little closer so I can read here. Tosh. Yeah, that's definitely becoming the nickname. Tosh, this overstuffed house. You know, it's funny though, is like Jan started calling me Tosh. And it fits. The initials fit for this overstuffed house. But all I could think of was Torchwood, which is a spin-off of Doctor Who, but it is definitely not a little kid's. Torchwood is for the grown-ups, absolutely. But there's one of the scientists is named Tosh. So where am I? Oh, this is a hallway. So behind the ring light is where the house originally stopped in 1911. They added on to the end of the living room, which is 7 feet that way is my desk. And then this little tiny hallway, the kitchen is on the other side of this wall right here. And then this, that is what I keep calling the playroom. And next to me right here is a coat closet. So the playroom was actually an office. And it has gorgeous dark wood paneling partway up the walls. It has this god-awful textured plaster over top of rock board. Also has a big hole in the ceiling because pipes for the tub, the water line leaked, and we didn't know it until it all just collapsed all over everything. That was no fun. Absolutely no fun that day, and especially when so much stuff got damaged. But that's where I've been isolating. I had Morgan in there because I can shut the door and it latches. You have an old home, especially if it starts leveling differently, which ours is because some idiot thought in 1935 using 5 2x4s to hold up the back half of the house was a good idea. And after 2 earthquakes in this area, the outside 2x4s, which is all that's actually holding up the joists that go this way, they're actually about 1/4 of an inch lower than the others. So there's cracks in the plaster that I can't fix until we can get that jacked back up. But all the 1935 stuff is just kind of crap. It looks good on the surface, but when you get inside the walls, and that room looks beautiful, but there's no insulation in the walls. There's no insulation between the basement and the floor either. But that was the office for Isaac Wetherell, who was the twin brother of Sarah, who the house is built for. So that's where I'm at. I'm in this tiny. It wouldn't be so claustrophobic except for how wide this is. Because if I straighten my arm out, my fingertips are touching the wall. And then so I'm guessing that's 1, 2, 3. It's maybe 4 feet wide. So yeah, it's a little narrow, but it's primarily because that, and then this is sticking out over the edge. This is all Boy Scout stuff. This is all the tubs. This tub is full of patches, of books, of other kinds of artifacts for when I teach. I'm drawing a blank. I hate being back on the painkillers. Scouting Heritage. So it has all the cool older stuff that I can show the kids. And it's a little too big. I need a better spot. Then it won't quite be so claustrophobic. But this is what I mean when I say in past videos, when your whole house is a black hole challenge, I wasn't kidding. But we'll get there. We will get there. We will get there together. I know a number of you were doing black hole challenge with me, and mine had to stop because I got hurt. But mine is going to start up again. So we will. Oh, stop dusting before you chew. I took my allergy medicine. Hopefully it'll work and I won't sneeze so much. So there's only a few of us tonight, which I wasn't surprised at because, it's not a sale. So this is one I have not read, and it's probably going on the bottom shelf because right now I don't have any silver to deal with. And this is silver plate. It's American silver plate, flatware, and hollowware. So now, granted, I have it, and some of you may have inherited silver plate. If you want me to look anything up in here, I can. It's mostly what they did for this one is it's mostly catalog drawings of what the different, and of course, a ton of it is Rogers Brothers. Rogers Brothers has been around forever. They do have Reed and Barton. Reed and Barton tended to make some really pretty stuff from the 1800s. Holmes and Edwards, Community Silver Plate, which was really big in the 20s. So I don't mind. I don't at the moment have anything that I need that one for, other than if you guys send me a photo and want to know for me to look something up to get a background, I'll go ahead and do that. That's fine. So that one should go bottom shelf. Now, I have 4 salt and pepper shaker books. Now, a lot of these, there's never sometimes there's really not a lot to read. It's just a matter of seeing if you can ID it. Sometimes you need to know what the other thing in the pair is. And here's a perfect example of this. How many of you have seen the salt and pepper shakers that are the individual state? They were big in the 50s and 60s. And there's an image in here that's really cool that somebody made the 38 United States of America because he collected 38 of those and made them into a map. Now, here's the problem. These all have something individual. You see what I mean? Oh, my volume's acting wonky. Unfortunately, I don't know that there's too much I can do about that volume. We've been having problems with this phone and volume. And I'm too far away from. I'll try to be a little louder because it might be because I'm further away from it than I normally am. So I will try to project a little more. But those state ones, I've often seen people where they'll have 2 of the exact same state and think that's the pair. And they're not. They usually have something that the state is known for. So like Rhode Island has a rooster. Connecticut has a graduation cap. Hawaii has a hula girl. So they're very helpful in finding out what your other piece is. But as I said, a lot of these don't go back too far. Now this one, this set, who's this one? This Melva Davern. Hers is pretty good. She's got, not only does she have the old ones, she often has pinned down who made them. And that's not something you see in some of these, like this particular one from Collector Books. It doesn't tell me who made any of them. So that I found to be a problem. Now this one is Helene. Oh, wow. That's Italian. I don't think I'm going to be able to say that. Now, she does have some cool stuff because she's even got these multi-piece sets. Multi-piece sets are very hard to find. You just don't see them often. Or when you find them, they're missing the bottom part, or they're missing the bottom part and the jam jar that would go with them. I love these. I love it's Helen Guarnaccia. Now this is Shakers number 4. I do not have any of the others. And I should look for them because she's the only one I've found that really has some of the early ones. Like I know I saw one of her other books from the library, and it actually had the old chalkware stuff that used to be carnival giveaways. I have Dick Tracy, and he has a cop with him, but I never read Dick Tracy, so I don't know. I never read the Sunday comics of that, so I don't know who his partner was, who the police officer was. But I also have packed away Little Orphan Annie and Sandy, and they're chalkware, and they were carnival giveaways in the 20s and 30s. And most of the stuff I found don't have that, but this lady, her books have that. And as I said, this is volume 4. I don't have any of the other volumes. Boy, I'd love to. I would love to find them. So she does have, I just saw it. Show you. So I have this one. And my colors are a little different, but if you saw the treasure chest where I cleaned out my china closet that's in my bedroom, you would have seen this. Now, I own that one, and those big figural ones, you don't see that often. So, the other one I have is by Melva Davern. Salt and Pepper Shakers, figural and novelty. One thing I've have is the way they set up the pictures. You really don't have a good close-up. And that's one thing that is the same. These two are the same author, and the picture layouts are the same way, and you just can't really get good. You just don't get good close-ups of it being on those glass shelves. Now, I need to double check because I suspect that these are the same book. This is just the revised edition from that. So if that's the case, I don't need 2 of them. So one may show up in a live sale. But this little one is the same woman who did this one. I absolutely want them. At the moment, I don't have any more salt and pepper shakers to sell, but I find them pretty often. So I think we're going to put that top shelf, do you think? Oh, this is invaluable. And Dictionaries of Marx. Now, there's some of these you can find online. A lot of sites have Dictionaries of Marx online. But scrolling through them sometimes can take you hours. So if you can find something you can look through at your leisure instead, sometimes it's more helpful. This book is solely ceramics and metalwork. This one is definitely a top shelf because I'm in that one often. Now I have my McCoy. I love my McCoy. Most of my McCoy stuff that I own is planters and some vases. And let me see if I can show you one. Most of the planters I have from McCoy are not anything super figural. I think the most figural thing I have from McCoy is I have a string. Well, I don't have it in that god awful color, but so this image is from a catalog. This one right there. I have that in yellow. And that's about as figural as most of my McCoy gets. But I don't have, I've got 4. Wait a minute, what have I got here? Do I have duplicate? What have I got? Okay, so I have the Collector's Encyclopedia by Sharon and Bob Huxford. I have read these McCoy ones back to back. They are excellent. Okay, so we're definitely going to put McCoy bottom shelf because I don't need it right now. Okay, and then these. Oh, okay. This is friggin' heavy. So this is volume 3 by Craig Neeson, Margaret Hanson, and Bob Hanson. I have volume 1 and volume 2. So definitely all keepers. I love my McCoy. One of the reasons for the Black Hole Challenge, why when a friend, after I had bought, well, Mike had bought, I had to pay for the getting it here, it turned out. But after we got the one china closet for the Black Hole Challenge room to store things in that I didn't want to risk the cat knocking over. But when my friend offered me the second one and I jumped having that, is because I would like to actually have my McCoy pieces out where I can enjoy them, because most of them are packed away. And so, Nettie, you're a bit late. Oh, hon, don't worry. It's just a hangout. So I definitely will be hanging on to my McCoy books. Now, any of you that are interested in American pottery and don't really know that much, I really recommend finding this one. American Art Pottery by Dick Sigefuse. If you are just starting out wanting to collect art pottery from the US, it is an excellent book to get you started. They, of course, have Rookwood, but there's so many smaller ones like Peters and Reed, Mueller, the Mosaic Tile Company, which actually did some tiles with Walter Crane illustrations. And there's an illustrator you should look up and learn. Walter Crane. Crane is spelled just like the bird, Crane. He is a man whose artwork was used on tile. It was used to illustrate books. It was used on advertising cards. So those Victorian trading cards, which VTCs, which are those old advertising cards, they are worth it. If you find them, they usually have some value to them. Kate Greenaway also did some advertising cards, but there's a lot of fakes of her advertising cards. But you can learn to tell the differences because usually the fakes, the colors aren't right. This has Zanesville pottery in it, like the bunny. But it is Groovy Fance, Galloway Terra, Franklin. I never found any Franklin. Cambridge. I had some Cambridge once. Some of these literally are art tiles, like Cambridge tile manufacturing. They literally did tiles. And you will often find them framed, and they will say, if you find any loose, they will say Cambridge on the back. Now, I had a profile set that I found, and the one was broken in half, and so that was not really, because it went right down the face. There was no way, and the guy was still trying to sell them as a pair, and I balked at that, and we argued back and forth, and I paid, and this was back earlier days of eBay, and I paid $25 for the good one, and he gave me the broken one. And then I flipped the pair, even though it was broken. I flipped them onto eBay for $120 because, and I don't even know what finding a pair of them, their face pairs, their portrait tiles. I don't even know what the value would be now, because this was back in early 90s, mid 90s. But they did a lot of, Cambridge was in Hartwell, Ohio. They did a lot of stuff for tile surrounds around your fireplace. So if you're looking for stuff to flip, don't forget to sometimes, if you see decorative tiles, find out who the maker is, because there are some that are definitely worth finding. Now, let's keep that with koi. Let's put all the pottery stuff together. Oh, now, at some point, I'm gonna have to deal with this. Now, this one I just got not too long ago. Jewelry and buttons. You are gonna sometimes find, and I have one that was made for a button for your. The heck? Oh, the McCoy books tipped over. They are hand painted. They sometimes are studs. I have one, has a woman's portrait on it. It's gorgeous. And it was a stud for a dress. Now, these are very Edwardian period. And I'm going to show you. I've never found these, but they could be heart-shaped pendants. These are all hand painted. Now they're often done as pins, but you can find them as buttons, or they'll have a setting around them to make them a locket, or not a locket, to make them a pendant, like those heart ones. They are often overlooked. People don't really know what they are. Some of them they'll call buttons, and they'll say, it has a shank on the back, but when you look at the shank, it doesn't actually have holes to go through it for the thread, so they're not technically a button. They, at that point, then they are a stud, which is still made to just close your shirt. They also did cufflinks, though I've never seen a cufflink pair other than in this book. They really are overlooked because they're so small. A lot of people just think, oh, it's just some piece of porcelain somebody practiced on. No, they were a thing. They were a thing from the 1890s all the way through the Edwardian period. They are definitely a thing. And I only own 2. That's all I found. One I found in inheritance, and the other I picked up because I wasn't going to let it pass. Okay, come on, you. Stand back up. Hey. I have that one. This is more of an ID thing because I know there's a few old watches in his house. And my son is interested in that. Oh, here's another Florence's Big Book of Salt and Pepper Shakers. You can see I have things marked inside. What do I have marked inside? Let's find one. Let's find a better one. I think I was looking at this because that big collection I was telling you about. I would say that nothing from the top shelf, but at least 3 pairs on every shelf underneath it was in that collection. Now, I don't think there's any of these still around here. Who knows? I might get into that attic and find another box, because before my mom died, she get in there. She had just found. Oh, that's right. That's the salt and pepper shakers. I need to double check and see if that's a duplicate. But she had found a box of salt and pepper shakers stuffed way in the back of her closet. And it was a wine box, one of those ones about that big, but this high. And I sold off all the ones she wanted me to sell off, which was most of them. And she was dumbfounded that I made her $800 off of salt and pepper shakers. But it's because the ones we found were mostly the ones that were made in Germany and Czechoslovakia, and were all from Europe. So they were a different kind of porcelain than the mass-produced stuff that was coming out of Japan. They were very finely painted, definitely a different type of quality than what you were seeing come out of Japan for a while there. Just like when you looked at them, you could tell they weren't from there, partly because of the color palette was so different. So what am I going to do with that stuff? Well, with these help me sell, because these help me identify stuff. So that's what we're showing off here tonight. What time is it? Almost 9. So I have a lot of jewelry books. This one and this one and this one. And these definitely, this costume jewelry stuff, this has got to be on the top shelf, because I have had many of you send me emails with pictures of stuff trying to find help in getting it identified. And I've been fine with that. I've also found stuff that I've unpacked and went, oh, didn't realize I had that. And have needed them. I mean, they are worth it to have those 4, and they really just give a brief overview. I don't believe I have any jewelry that's a specific maker. I don't specifically have anything that would be just on Coro or Trifari or any one of the other makers. So these now tins. I have. They are 2 different people, but they both say volume 2. I'm going to put these on the top shelf because these have to be where I can get to them, because I'm about to purge in the basement. And in the basement, there are a couple of tins, and I know there's tins. There's a whole bag of tins. I don't know how old any of them are, that are in the Black Hole Challenge room. And I am determined that I will get to those suckers. So I think I'm going to need to hang on to them up top. I'm not ready to deal with this yet. Antique vintage clothing. There is bits and pieces of vintage clothing all over the place in this house. This just gives a guide to how to date it. It is Antique and Vintage Clothing, a guide to dating and valuation of women's clothing, 1850 to 1940. Um, we had a couple of books like this simply because mom would have me do her research. So it's handy to have around, but I am not in any way ready to do any of that. I can't even get to a lot of it. It's packed away. I did just find the pants to my father's World War II Navy uniform. So I have two pair of navy blue pants. I don't have the top. I don't know that we ever had the top because they weren't married yet. So my grandmother refused to give mom his Navy suit. We only got the pants after my father had died. And they were cleaning out the attic of her place and found them. So his sister big heartedly gave them to my mom. But at that point, my father had already passed away. Interesting family I have. A basic, this is a good basic for coins. Collector's Compass is a series. They do a lot of books that are a good starter. And sometimes you can find these at your local library. Ask for interlibrary loan, see if they can find them and get them loaned in for you. It's not necessarily easy. Not a lot of libraries keep these kind of books. But when it's an overview kind of book, you have a better chance. And Collector's Compass, they printed a lot of them that are just a nice overview on a lot of different things. This one happens to be United States coins. They have ones on basically the popular collectibles. So there's ones on porcelain, ones on jewelry, ones on glass. So they are worth it if you're just starting out. See if you can find any of them. Coins is going to go bottom shelf. Back up here because I don't need you. Comic book, the same way. The only reason I have this is because I know there's at least 3 boxes of comic books in this house, all boarded, bagged, ready to go. Not where I know. Now, I'll bet Katie has this one. I have to admit, I've leafed through it, but I haven't really read through it. Look, it's still got this in there. I paid 50 cents for this book at the AAUW annual used book sale, the American Association of University Women. If you can find a branch of that organization, they often run book sales, and they'll usually be near some university. And boy, they have awesome stuff. I love these. I love old plastic. That's why you'll see me in the chats and I'll say something is styrene versus modern plastic because I know the difference. I have that one. I have that one. And I have this one, which is just on styrene. Styrene is that was the first hard plastic kind of stuff to come out. Some of it has almost a slightly translucent quality. Easter's coming up. I like styrene stuff. A lot of early junk drawer things that you find, like these bubble pipes. They're the hard plastic. Well, here's the one. These always cracked me up. Now, I have this snowman. Okay, so I have the snowman. I don't have that. I never knew that existed, but I found out from these books that a lot of times they couldn't do it really too often with Santa, but some of the snowmen, they slapped, like there's another one in here where all they did was they slapped a skull and crossbones on his top hat and painted him black and orange. So I never knew some of these alternative paint jobs existed. until they got these. But I love collecting that old early hard plastic decorations, the toy ones. I think they're awesome. So I do go into these, but not a lot lately because I haven't found them. So we're gonna put them on the bottom. Uh, Old book guides. Huxfords are excellent. Now I do have different editions. This is the 3rd, and this one is the 13th. Now, when the editions are that far apart, they've pretty much revamped a lot of what was in it. So I will be going through these again. I'm gonna need those. This was a starter book I've had for ages. These are rough. Honestly, I find these difficult to use. You don't get many pictures. You just get this long list. And I find that difficult to use. So, I mean, it does contain a ton of names, but I just find it. I mean, look how pristine this looks. I haven't even broken the spine. This is from 2002. One of the few times I bought one new. I bought this new, and I've used it so little that it's, it's almost pristine. So I think it's time for that one to go. That's another Huxford book series. Now, I do know a lot about series books, whether it's the Boy Scout series, Airplane Scouts, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, Dana Girls. So I do know a fair bit about them. This is an excellent book to get you started, or if you have an old series, to find out more about it. It was made by Collectors Books, and I don't believe they're around publishing anymore, but it definitely was worth it. Now, this one I don't think I've ever tracked down volume 1. There is another series called Collector's Guide to Children's Books. And I have volume 2, which goes 1850 to 1950. And then I have volume 3, which goes 1950 to 1975. And you can tell, like, this is getting kind of dog-eared. They both are getting worn along here. I've been into these books a lot, but I don't think I've ever found volume 1, and I wouldn't mind having that because I have come across children's books from before the 1850s. Oh, thank you, moderators. Tell on the laptop. It's not showing up. I can't see much on the phone for StreamYard, but I can see the live chat over there, and my mods pegged somebody. Thank you very much. I do have a small collection of these old figural ashtrays. I inherited just a few odd ones that were from bridge sets. Someday I'll have them out where I can figure out what ones I need to finish a whole set. But I have this, and I actually definitely need this top shelf right now. I'll put it with the tins, because this end is the stuff that I know I absolutely have stuff that I need to look up soon so that I can get it into a live set. Now, let's see. Boy. I have been in these so much. I have, by Delosier, The Collector's Encyclopedia of Lefton China. I have book 1 and book 2. These have been invaluable, but let me tell you, there's so much Lefton out there that these just don't cover all of it. Just don't cover all of it. They're going to need to come up here too because I've got a couple pieces of Lefton I found. These are new. I have not had a chance to look through these. I have another Hanson American Art Pottery collection. Got that. And I have the Shawnee Pottery. Got that. And thank you very much for the Christmas present, because I don't know who sent them to me. But they came with a note that said, these are a gift, somebody off eBay, and never did find out who sent them. So we have all the McCoy, we have the art pottery books. So we're going to put them on the bottom. I have this one too, which I went looking for, because on the recommendation of Katie. So this has proven already. I only had this a couple of months. I got it back in September, and it's already proven invaluable because I don't know glass, and I like the elegant glass. I like the 1930s kind of glass and some of the patterns, and so I'm always looking for it. So when looking for it, then I see other stuff, because that's the one thing I didn't really inherit. So I do source trying to find glass for you guys, because I know you like glass. Should we put glass on the top? I think we should put glass on the top, because I don't think I have that many in glass. Gotta leave room, because I think there's another Lefton book missing. Okay, I'm not going to need these for a while. I love cigarette cards. I love finding these. But my source has dried up. Chair is slide back. There used to be a place down in Delaware, in the Wilmington area, and he was a card shop, and he did all kinds of trading cards, sports cards, all that kind of stuff. And I would buy just box loads, little box loads of his odd lots, because I didn't care what condition they were in. They didn't need to be perfect. I wasn't getting them as a collector. And of the ones I collected, I didn't care if they were perfect or not. But I used to make artwork for dollhouses out of some of them, because being that they're only about that big, it's a good size to make artwork for a dollhouse. So if they weren't in great shape, it was fine. But he's not there anymore. So I don't have that anymore as a resource. So all right, that's got to go with the jewelry. I got no room here. All right, put that down there. So I haven't been able to get any more, and I've been slowly in some of the live sales. You guys have bought some of the last of the ones I had that I don't really use. And the benefit of having the ones that aren't in great shape is those are the ones that use for junk journaling, use for art projects, use them for whatever you want, because yeah, the corners might not be perfect, but if you're gluing them into something, it doesn't matter. But I don't have a source anymore. So we have, I like wall pockets. I have this one, which is a good, if you collect wall pockets, Freda Perkins, or is that Freda? Fredda, Freda Perkins. Boy, this one opened my eyes to the kind of wall pockets that can be out there to be found. There's some stunning ones in there. Hello, princess. I see you. Okay. Nippon porcelain. This has definitely helped me identify um, some of the Japan makers, especially as it's Nippon. So it's the early stuff. If you collect Nippon, I highly recommend this book. This is one I have read cover to cover. It's by Joan F. Van Patten. This particular one is the second series. It was printed by Collector Books, and by all means, this is an absolute must if you collect Nippon. It has the things in there for the different makers. This one actually came with an updated value thing in the back with even more pictures in it of Nippon. Early Nippon stuff, the painting styles on some of the early Nippon is just stunning. They were trying to match British porcelain, and so they put some of their best artists on it. And it really is just stunning stuff. I need to move you over. Nope, your clothing. So we're gonna put all the pottery and porcelain together. So wall pockets, McCall's, Hull. I haven't read this one yet. Hull Pottery. Not to be confused with Hall, because I did just sell that off. Now here's another one that's a general one, which I'm most likely going to purge because I'm rarely ever in them. This one I just got, and it's signed by the author. I have already like torn this one up a little bit, cracked the spine. This is just a sampler. If anybody knows, and there are a few pictures, most of them black and white. If anybody knows of any other Marx toy guidebook out there, please drop it in the description on this video. Let me know what it is. I still have boxes of toys. Marx was a big toy thing in our house. We have bits and pieces to the Flintstones set, to the Civil War set, to a World War II play set. I have the metal container to carry a castle set around. I need help. I have boxes of some of these little figures that I can't tell because I don't have such detailed pictures in some of this to be able to tell them apart. There'll be a picture of the castle set and it'll show like a big view of the entire thing laid out, but no up close pictures of which horses, which castle figures are actually Marx. I don't know because I can't see it up close. So by all means, if you know one that's for Marx Toys, let me know. I need it. I have boxes of this stuff because it's all the leftovers. Remember, there was a 16-year age spread in my family from the oldest to me, and I came along in 1965. So there are the remains of a lot of Marx playsets in this collection of what I've got around here. Oh, this is the book why I was pestering Daniel from Tacky Is Me. He has, that's a one-off, so we'll put that on the bottom shelf. He has a wonderful image that's behind him when he films, and it's on the wall when he's sitting at his table and filming. And he doesn't know who the artist is, and I keep telling him, send me a picture. I will see if I can find out. This is Victorian studio photographs. This has come in handy because I've actually ID'd. Now, when you see, you will know the difference when you see a studio photograph that is not just somebody's family photo. Oh, look. Oh, perfect. That's Sir Arthur Sullivan. The other half of Gilbert and Sullivan. William Morris. God, he needs that beard trim. Has he really got a leopard head on his head? Oh, good Lord, he does. He really does. He's got a leopard's head. Okay, dude, how much brandy did you drink? And the tail. Oh, Lord, he's wearing it like a cape. The tail is hanging back behind his legs. Prince Arthur, Duke of Connaught. Third son and seventh child of Queen Victoria and Albert. Oh, wow. Dude. Wow. But you see what I mean about how different, like they'll always look different. The headshots will literally be a headshot right to here. And I've seen a couple places where somebody's thought that was like an old cabinet photo of just some family member. And I'm like, you might want to check a little more. And it turned out to be somebody famous. This is Glassware. This is another one I had picked up. Where did I put that glass one? So we have jewelry, books. You know, I only have the two left in. I should put the two left in. Down with the other pottery. Where did I put that glass one? That's all pottery. Plastic. Depression glass. Okay, the Marx, the book on Marx, Dictionary of Marx is there. So the glass is this side. We'll do that. And Marx, I still need. We'll put that there. This one was just a fun one to go through. It covers just a lot of little stuff from trays to there were some pillows in here. There's some Danish modern furniture. There's jewelry. So this one is a really good overview if you want to have a good overview of that 40s into the 50s mid-century kind of look. This is by HP Books. I don't know if they're still around or not. Made in Japan Ceramics. This is by Carol Bess White. So this is a different one from the other one we had. That was, because that other one was Nippon. We'll put that next to it. I knew I had another left in. This poor little guy. I've gotten a lot more use out of this, even though it's black and white pictures, because Lefton has code numbers. And you can see this has all the code numbers. You can look stuff up in here by the code number, and there may not be a picture, but it'll tell you like dish, leaf-shaped, red cardinal. It'll have the number. So I've been in this one so much, it's literally popping apart. And it is one that I do need to take the time, maybe in the spring when not everything has to be diverted to one thing, but to just go to the local copying place. There's a family-owned business, and they will spiral bound this for me because I use this one a ton. Yes, doctor? No, you can't climb up on me when I'm here. Ha 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 ha. Now, I've picked this one up because it actually had names of dealers, people who were looking for specific stuff. Now, I haven't contacted any of them in a long while. This is from 1999. And when I did actually contact the person who had padlocks, because I had 7 or 8 old padlocks and no keys. And we're talking old brass, most of them brass, 2 iron ones. And I sold them outright to the gentleman who was in here. So I don't know that any of these are still any good. but it still has been an interesting read through reference. I think I will take that one and leave it with the others that I said I need to just double check if they're worth keeping. This is something new to me. Somebody, I don't even remember who, had a piece of peach blow in their sale. And I'm not a big peach person, but I know I have seen some of this stuff in my area at flea markets and not known what it was. So I passed on it and found out I shouldn't have. So this has got to be on the to read list because I've only leafed through it. There's a lot of, I mean, I have so many of these. This is my favorite. I love this stuff. I love RS Prussia. And RS Prussia and RS Germany are offshoots of the same company. It all depends on what time. RS Germany did not last as long. They did not survive as long. After World War I, RS Prussia moved to Germany, came RS Germany. Then after that, at some point, it moved to Czechoslovakia, different name, and then folded. Treasure Craft. Treasure Craft. Guess by who? Wow, dude. Look how young that picture is of George. So if you have not talked to George the Antique Nomad and gotten his book, it is an excellent read. It is an absolutely excellent book. I never knew anything about Treasure Craft. Now I keep an eye open for it. There is one company that makes things that look like it, and I'm blanking on the name. So by all means, if you remember the name of the one that the knockoff Treasure Craft, they're not Treasure Craft, and they don't have a maker's name on them, and they'll say USA, but they still have that kind of look. Sequoia ware, is that it? Somebody will know and they'll put it in the chat. So let's make sure. You know, I think this one shelf is going to be completely full of pottery. American Toys. I had so much fun. I had so much fun reading these. We're going to put that with the Marx toys. And Dawn. I still own my Dawn doll. I only had one of Dawn's friends, though. And this one is already getting dog-eared. It's been a lot of help. Matchbox Toys, 1947 to 1998. The majority of the Matchbox toys that are in this house would be from those years because 47 is, I think, the year my brother Steve was born. If not, it's the year my parents got married. Carnival Glass, haven't read yet. Seeing a problem here? You guys seeing a problem here? Elegant Glass. Have not read cover to cover. But I'll tell you, this one, oh, the eye candy in this one. Absolutely love it. Because I really like that elegant 1930s kind of stuff. You know, that Edwardian period of the really early stuff. Now, I just got this one. And I'm not going to deal with ornaments yet. So, bottom shelf. Any ornaments can wait for later. Vanity bags and purses. That's another one. It was part of the lot. And so it's given me an overview of things to look forward to. I actually should put that up here on this end with the stuff that I actually need to research because I have a beaded bag that's absolutely stunning looking. Now, I've got a whole bunch. And it's 9:26. I hope you guys aren't bored with all this. I mean, it literally is trying to fly through just trying to teach stuff, and if you have a collection to see. Now I got this one because after having spent the time working in and unfortunately the cat clawed through the corner of the box, little brat, and she's damaged the corner of this one. But having worked in a museum, I understand that sometimes having the original frame on something is super important, especially the older you get. And this is just an old thing on frames. It's a survey of fabrications, techniques, and styles. It is actually the American Institute of Architects Foundation printed it. I suspect it was in conjunction with some kind of display or exhibition somewhere. So I thought that one, I really wanted to have that one because it is important for some of these prints from the 30s, like the Maxfield Parrish prints. He used to match up what frame was going with what print that was sold. So it's important to know if you have one with the original frame, then that makes it worth more. This is more glass. I've used this quite a bit. If you like the kitschy glass, then you need this book because it's really, really, it's worth it. This is actually, I mean, there's bar sets in here too. There's all kinds. There's Libby, Jeanette, Anchor Hocking, Hazel Atlas, Federal, Bartlett Collins. There's so many, and the images are just, there's so many. I'm gonna try to hold it up and just show. Here's a good thing. So not only did they make good images, a lot of the images, if it helped show the color, the glass is photographed on black. Because sometimes seeing the pattern on white is difficult. Now, I'm going to have to take two hands because I've used this so much the spine is cracking. Now, these were actual images from an old catalog, a Bartlett Collins 1960 catalog. The nice part there is you can actually see what the original box looked like. And a lot of times these sets, sometimes they didn't all have the same image, but they had 4 compatible images. And if you don't know what the other images are, you might leave the glasses behind when you see them going, oh, well, that's not the same set, but it could be. This thing has really, really been worth it. Nortaki, because I just love, I just love some of that higher end Japanese stuff. Depression glass, which if there is any glass still in this house, that's probably some of the not higher end of that. Put that all up here. Now, I don't know much about this. I have come across a few pieces of this. Graniteware, and I had some children's sets, just remains of, and I didn't really know much about them, and I didn't know how to tell them apart. So I got this, and I was really surprised. I just thought graniteware was pots and pans, but it's so much. I mean, these are milk cartons. They're well, they're not called cartons then. Milk and cream utensils. There's there's a washboard in here, which cracked me up, and I wanted to show you that, but I can't find it. I never ever would have thought that there'd be a graniteware washboard, and some places call it spatterware. There's just so much different variety to it, and it's kind of valuable when you find it. The collectors, it's a small market, but they love their stuff. So I got that one to learn more about it. Never bored, love seeing. Yeah, I mean, go through your own collection. Oh, I love these. This is the box. I'm pulling ones out now that I haven't even gone through yet because this is the box that we got off Facebook Marketplace. This guy was just clearing out the whole box load. Fountain pens. I like old fountain pens. I've never been so disappointed as I had one. I had two or three, but they don't work. They need new bladders, and I don't know how to repair them. And I allowed one to be used on stage, and I was so mad because I kept telling the actors the importance of don't play with it. You have it in one scene, and it goes right back into the purse you have. It's a period drama. Don't mess around with it. Didn't she take it home one day, which she wasn't supposed to do, play around with it, and then lost the lid? Could have wrung her neck. Mostly what I like, though, is I have a mother of pearl dip pen, which had been my great grandmother's, and I love those. You don't find those. They don't have a bladder. It literally is some kind of a handle and then the nib. Now, the one I have is a very fine nib, so it takes very narrow nib tips, and I only have two other nib tips because I can't find those narrow ones. Now, we all know I like postcards, so I picked these up. This is all just patriotic postcards. You can tell this is older. It's all black and white. I have artists signed. And I don't have as many of the old postcards as I used to because when my great aunt and uncle, Aunt Harry and Uncle George, moved to a retirement community, they gave me their massive collection, but again, pre eBay, and I had tons of pen pals. I used to use them. I miss having pen pals. Now, this is the fourth series of Joan Van Patten's Porcelain Nippon Encyclopedia. And remember what I said about that early on. If they're far enough editions apart, they often have a lot of different things. And I see I still have bank statement, something in here because I had come across some of that one. I might still have one piece of that particular pattern. So let's put those two together. Oh dear. Yeah, this one is probably going to end up maybe in a live sale. I'm not that super big on nautical, so I think that one will probably be going. And I'm trying to be careful because I have to be real careful of how I bend. Overstreet Comics. This is newer than the one I just showed you earlier. So I think I will compare, see which one would actually help me out more because I know there's at least 3 boxes of comic books in this house that are actually boarded, bagged, but not graded. So I'll have to, I might be purging one of those. Teddy bears. Now this I don't think is a price guide. This says it's a lively illustrated history of teddy bears and their many relatives. This will probably be coming to a live sale near you on my channel. Or I have 2 sales next week. On the 8th, pretty sure it's the 8th, on Tuesday, I'm going to be live on Skunky Junk for his sale. And then on Thursday, there'll be a sale on my channel, my usual sale. Now we have another postcard one. And we have music. There is, I know, in the top of this closet, a whole box of sheet music. Yeah, you, I see you. This box that you have just completely destroyed. Oh, well, that one's got a broken spine. Complete price guide to watches. Oh, there's a lot of pictures. Oh, look at all that. That's a lot more pictures that's in the other book. Well, the other book was about repair. I think that one will end up being a keeper too then. Yeah, you. Let me show you what she did to this box. Shredded. Absolutely shredded. She was so mad that Morgan, the kitten, was in the house. Morgan, though, was only in the house for 2 weeks, and then she escaped out the front door on my brother, and she has not come back. She'll come to the porch and eat finally, but that male tabby has been following her. So by now she's 8 to 10 months old, had her first heat, old enough to end up having kittens. But Doctor was so jealous, she shredded. She only goes after boxes when she's mad at me. She was really mad at me. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And she shredded right into the top book. Yeah, you. I'm talking about you. Now, she has not been upset. Shadow, because it's been 20 degrees or lower here at night, Shadow has been coming in. There is an exterior door off of the playroom here. And Shadow has come in and spent the night and gotten a good night's sleep in a warm house, but then he wants right back out in the morning. The first time he came in, I'm standing right there. He lifted that tail and sprayed against a cardboard box, and I flipped, and no, you're not. And he hasn't done it again. So he's smart. He's also got a big wound on his neck. So every time I see him, when I feed him in the morning, I'm putting Neosporin antibiotic cream on him. The vet has approved that. And then I do it again when he comes in for the night because he's got a big patch of fur missing. Are you trying to get in there? You did get in there. She heard me say Shadow, so she was determined to go see if he was in there. She will tolerate the male cats. She wants no parts of the females. So I'm going to try again to find a cat rescue that maybe we can get Rory and little murder mittens from Morgan. If we can get Morgan taken by them because they both want to come into the house, but Rory cannot be trusted around other cats. She fights violently, and I am not going to risk having the doctor torn apart. The doctor herself has a lump on her side, so I need to take care of her. So, but that's what I do. Just one thing after another, and you just deal with it. I figure if all this crap I've dealt with in 2020 and 2021, this is going to be an okay year because I'm over the shock. I'm adjusting, well, trying to my new normal with a pinched nerve. So, and you guys have kept me sane. I want to say thank you tonight for that, by the way. I know quite a few people got upset with me for. Wait a minute. Ah! That's one of my stretches. I have to bend like that. It's not comfortable. Don't you knock that ring light over. So I've had a couple people email me saying, why if you couldn't keep up with the packing, did you keep doing live sales? And some got very annoyed and canceled, and that's okay. I am not throwing shade. I am not throwing shade on any of them. That's why you're not getting any names. I fully understand. You expect something to be right away, and it doesn't always happen because I often am still dealing with finding days like today when the arthritis acts up because the weather has changed. It's putting more pressure on where the pinched nerve is because, of course, that part of the spine is loaded with arthritis. So it makes it a rougher day. Today, I got one package of paper doll books packed up, and that's as far as I got. I ended up needing to lay flat for 4 hours before my spine calmed down. So that's going to be my new normal. But I kept having sales because I needed you. I really needed you. I don't think I could ever make you guys understand how awesome you were by letting me be live and have sales, even though you know it might be late. Still waiting. Some of you are still waiting. Um, you kept me sane. For anybody who has depression or is empathic, these last 2 years have been rough. And add to that the health issue I had that literally left me for the first 32 days screaming almost every time I moved. It just, you guys kept me going. And I want to say thank you. I may not have been chugging along very well at times, but you kept me sane. And I am so blessed by this community. Thank you so much. So, and all those books that I said I need to check just fell over on my foot. I think it's the house telling me don't be sappy. Don't be sappy. Hi everyone. Oh, so Grace just got here. So yeah, I know. It just says there were people have been coming in and out, and I don't even think we've hit 20 people watching at any one time. That's okay. That's fine. It's not a sale. There might be other sales on, so by all means, always go to the other sale. You can catch one of these kind of show and tell kind of things later. So, but I hope you had fun, and I hope you saw things that you might need for your own collection to learn more about it. Because sometimes you don't know what's out there until you start reading up on it. A lot of the publishers of some of these books, they're gone. Collectors books, I'm pretty sure doesn't exist. I think it's Schaefer is the one who at one point owned collector books. I think they periodically might publish something. George the Antique Nomad had said something about it in one of his lives. But they are hard to find. You're certainly harder to find newer ones on it. And having it on the internet isn't always the same thing as if you have a book in your hand, because you can't always literally just have the book next to you with the piece, so what do you don't you dare. Oh, she's okay. She's going to climb into the box that she shredded that I just emptied all those books out. But now look, we have there's a little space. There's a little space on the bottom shelf too. And it's all organized again now. Mike swears I have ADD because I have a hard time keeping things organized. No surprise there, right? But I have jewelry, books, glass, toys, the tins, because I'm going to need those soon. I did put the salt and pepper shaker up here. The other ones we found of the sheet music, the postcards, Hagen Roniger book on the little figures. Oh, you know what? There's one you can help me on. Does anybody know, is there a book on Goebel? Because I have a small collection. I mean, the minute you get past having 5, it's a collection, right? I have a small collection of the Goebel animals. Most of them are wild animals. I don't have any that are the pets. But is there a book on them? I would like to know, because I really like their wild animals. I saw one. I would have loved to have gone for it because a friend knows I'm looking for them, and I was like, I can't right now. They made one that's a hedgehog family, and the whole thing is only about maybe 6 inches long, but it's a mama hedgehog, and then there's like 4 or 5 little baby hedgehogs, and it's all one piece. It was the coolest looking little thing. So, oh yeah, books are far more fun. The only trouble with books this size you're not reading these in bed, because if you fall asleep, with one of these suckers over your face, yeah, you're gonna wake up. You're definitely gonna wake up. But for if you want to source your own, I mean, my son found that one. Just he was trying to help find some way to make me happy, because he knows what depression can be like. Both his parents suffered for it, and he has his own bouts now and then, but his isn't as bad as mine. I'm on medication for it. But he found out about that bulk lot on Facebook Marketplace, which was great. That was pretty good find, um, and definitely stuff I will use. And but you can source them anywhere. I have occasionally managed to find ones just by playing on the computer at the local library. Have found ones on some of these that I've been able to get them to do interlibrary loan and get them sometimes from other states. Always be nice to your librarian. Because these are not inexpensive. Some of these I will not. It has to be a really special one for me to spend $30 on, which I did for the R.S. Prussia book. I spent $30 for that one. I spent $30 for the Nippon one. There's not another book here that I've spent more than $20 for. And that's quite a few of those. That included the shipping. Because I've been getting these for years. I've been, when I would see them. And in the past, I've sold ones that, I didn't have a need then. Kind of wish I hadn't now. But, I wasn't on YouTube then, and eBay was part-time, once in a while thing. And then when I had to start all that all over, and, then it all became a bigger business. So let's see. It is 10 minutes to 10. I know Serendipity by Melanie has her sale tonight, which she does like a preview so that she can write it down and be in the chats with you. I believe Flippin' Crazy is having another one of her lives. I feel bad for her. It's not nice when you have a landlord that gives you no warning and ups everybody's rent by 30%. Can you imagine that? Suddenly being told your rent's going to increase by 30% starting at the end of the month. That's insane. That's a landlord I want to go slap in the back of the head and go, "What are you, stupid?" And the cool part of Flippin' Crazy is she does these sales where she'll have parts of something, and so like she had small batches where it was just one earring, but they were all yellow or they were all red. And so if you need them for a craft thing, you can pick up some nice, inexpensive little art things. So she's a good one to see, and she has several at a time. So if you use jewelry for crafting, she's a good place. She's also trying to downsize so she can move. So she's been also clearing out books and craft supplies, craft books that she no longer does. So, hey, hugs from Texas. How is the weather down there? Is this storm all the way down to Texas? This thing is a big, long storm. So, yeah, books are for more fun. Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, Mike and I actually, because his schedule is second or third, so there are times we may go for 2 or 3 days and we don't see each other except in passing. But he actually had 2 days in a row off, so we actually worked on the kitchen a little bit because I mean, even the kitchen table gets the one whole end's piled up. What I really wish I had is I need somebody to just sit there with my digital camera and take a bunch of eBay pictures for me because I have boxes of that stuff. That eBay's the best market for it. I love you guys, but there's some contemporary stuff that doesn't really fit the channel, that needs to be on eBay. So they're more modern or still sealed and plush that there's no way I'm getting that price at a live sale. So they need to get on eBay. But I need photographs taken. So it is rough when you're doing this as a business and you're by yourself. I mean, props to Trisha and anybody else that's doing this is just them. I still haven't even figured out how to do the accounting, and I don't even have an inventory system set up. I don't have any kind of Word programs. I don't have Excel. I don't have any of that on this laptop. So I've got to try to figure out ways to do it all by hand. And I'm still looking for a Rolodex. I really need something that I can put all your names and addresses in it that I can easily, even if it's just a phone book. You know how hard it is to find address books nowadays? I have not found an address book. Where are they all? Do they not make them anymore? So, snow layered this morning on top of the ice snow mix. Ooh. So, in other words, everybody in Texas needs to all just like roll up and stay home till the roads melt. Because most of y'all down there are not going to know how to drive in this. And ice, it doesn't matter. Ice is the great equalizer. My Aunt Michiko and Uncle Bert are in Texas, and so is my cousin in Texas. I'd love to get down there to see them. And Randy, if I do, I don't care that you're 6 hours south of where they are. We will find a way to meet up. So 9:53. I don't know if Patrick, Trusty Huckster Mercantile, I don't know if he's going to be on tonight at 11 because he was on last night and did a sale, which I caught the tail end of. So I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys had fun. If you have any comments or know of any good guidebooks for some of the things that we talked about and that I mentioned, drop them in the chat. Not in the chat, in the comments. And I will see you guys. If I don't see you Tuesday on Skunky Junk's channel, then I will see you on Thursday night at 8 o'clock on my channel. And by all means, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. But hit the bell notification to all, because I don't have a set schedule of putting out videos. So I need to, because I've got a cat update stuff that is stuck in my phone and I need to get it out of there. So I don't know, Randy. I think we could get ourselves into a lot of trouble because I'm a smart aleck. So, all right. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.